I'm just going to be live reviewing my notes about Islam from the Great World Religions course taught by Professor John Esposito from Georgetown University. I took this course a while ago, and it is super marked up, but I'm just going to be reviewing some stuff. So let's review the period of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the rightly guided caliphs from about 632 to 661 CE. This is regarded as like the normative period of Sunni Islam, and it serves as the idealized past to which Muslims look to for inspiration and guidance. So like, yeah, 7th century Arabia. I was reading a book about the Taliban, and it was saying that this is what the Taliban, they look to this period as like the ideal. Like, it's like they damn near want to time travel, and it's like that's kind of irrational, that's kind of schizophrenic. Like, you kind of can't time travel, so like make with the system, or like move on with the times. This is something that is kind of like resistant with Islam, mainly because of the whole bidah thing. It's spelled like B-I-D-A-H. Don't know how to write it in Arabic because my Arabic is fucking shit. But bidah can be translated as innovation, and Muslims are not really into innovation like this, right? They take a lot of pride in their religion being pure and unchanged from this 7th century Arabia era. So the rightly guided caliphs were the first 4 successors to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and all of them were Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him's companions, and they were chosen by a process of consultation followed by an oath of allegiance. So essentially it's saying like these were all Muhammad's companions, as in like I guess it's kind of analogous to the apostles being Jesus's companions, right? All the apostles except for the fake apostle, Saul of Tarsus / St. Paul, the fucking Pharisee that came in and changed the entire Christianity, but that's neither here nor there. But this is about Islam. So let's go back to this notes. So sectarianism and extremism in the Muslim Empire were born with 2 civil wars following the succession of the 4th Caliph Ali. And both of these are sparked by Ali's failure to find and punish the murders of the 3rd Caliph Uthman. So I'm just gonna end it right here. I don't feel like doing more. Alright, so after Ali's assassination in 661 CE by a splinter group, which we call the Kharijites, and that means those who leave or secede, the caliphate is seized by Muawiyah, who moves the capital to Damascus in Syria. And Muawiyah founds the Umayyad dynasty, which is ending what later Muslims call the golden age of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the rightly guided caliphs. And this turns the caliphate into an absolute hereditary monarchy dominated by like an Arab military aristocracy. So clearly this is different from this quote-unquote golden age of Islam. I guess monarchy kind of doesn't make sense in the context of Islam, just because this really, like, Prophet Muhammad was like a simple camel herder. I mean, he was married to an older woman, a divorcee, and quick side note, a funny thing about that is that like I've heard that a lot of Muslim families would be very like, if their son were to marry a woman that got divorced, and it's like, your prophet married a divorced woman, so like, are you really listening to your religion, or are you listening to your own culture and your own judgment of women that have had prior relationships? Like, I've seen a lot of memes about Muslims being very like, like, you know, when like their woman has had like, you know, like kissed one guy in 3rd grade or something, you know what I mean? When they've like had a body count of like 20,000. Like, these Muslim men, they like a lot of them literally think that it's okay for them to have as high a body count as possible. But like, if a woman has a higher body count, it's like, it's really bad. And I just think that that's not fair. Like, if people are gonna have a body count, it doesn't matter. Like, I think it does make it harder to pair bond, but at the end of the day, like, if you love somebody, you love somebody, and you accept them, like, with their mistakes and with their choices in the past. So anyways, we're gonna look at now the 8th to the 12th centuries. So this is when Islam and Muslim political power expands exponentially under the Umayyad and Abbasid caliphates. So it's interesting that like this so-called golden age, the rightly guided caliphs, Islam was not as like strong as it would get later on when this kind of age ends. So it's like, I guess, combining the ideals of Islam with more grounded and tried and true methods of like world building, right? You know, the Umayyad dynasty lasts from 661 to 750 CE. So it lasts like a little under 100 years. Not too bad. It's centered in Damascus, and it completes the conquest of the entire Persian and half of the Roman Byzantine empires. And this is a lot. This is a lot of fucking conquest. So, you know, they're really successful, the Umayyads, in acquiring power and wealth, you know, symbolized by the lifestyle of the flourishing cosmopolitan capital cities in Damascus and like other new cities. So like but the thing is, these strengths are also considered technically by some to be innovations, bidah, that undermines the older Arab way of life, sowing the seeds of destruction. So it's like, okay, yeah, we get something good out of it, right? Like we get something good from like using some Islamic values and then mixing it with some more like kind of tried and true world building methods. But like ultimately this is sowing the seeds of destruction to some Muslims. The Kharijites, those who leave or secede, who we talked about earlier, this is one opposing group to the Umayyads. They're kind of the earliest example of radical dissent in Islam, combining rigorous Puritanism with religious fundamentalism and exclusivist egalitarianism. So let's break that down, because that's a lot of fucking words that I said. Rigorous Puritanism. So obviously rigorous Puritanism, it's like, I don't know how to explain it, because I feel like it just makes a lot of sense in my head. But being super puritanical about it and being like extreme about it, right? Like only stick to the rules. And they saw these people were kind of like flouncing the rules a little bit. So let's not do that. Religious fundamentalism, my least favorite thing in the world. I think we all know that. If you watch my channel, you know that I fucking hate this stuff. I think that this is the stuff that seeds hate. I think that the devil is religious fundamentalism, right? I think that religions need to change over time, because time periods change, and like certain things need to be kind of kept pure. But staying fundamentalist about it, like, it just leads you to a path of destruction, because if somebody even slightly like misfollows things, and then people are gonna want to kill them. You can't like. My friend Sarah actually said this. In religion, you give people like an inch and they'll take a mile. Like Lil Wayne said, like, you give a bitch an inch and she'd rather take 9. Like, people are always gonna want to fucking like, if you're gonna say like a paper cut is okay, they're gonna use that and try to cut somebody's arm off. You know what I mean? Like, people are always gonna push the fucking edges. So like, just like be non-violent. Like, that's why like we have such little violence in Buddhism, like compared to the Abrahamic religions, right? And exclusivist egalitarianism, it does kind of remind me of some of the insane hadiths that are very man-centric. How like a woman's opinion is like 3/4 of a man's or some shit. I can reference a hadith, somebody fucking comments about it and like shits on me about it, I can totally reference it. I'm not talking out of my fucking ass. I might be wrong with the numbers, but it was like, I think it was like a woman's opinion is like half that of a man or something. But it's like exclusivist egalitarianism is almost like kind of like straight up racism, because if it's exclusivist, then it's not egalitarianism. So it's kind of a weird thing. So yeah, saying the Kharijites continue to inspire religious extremist groups today. They probably have inspired the Wahhabis, who are, I really do not like them. Might be a little dangerous for me to say I don't like them, but whatever. Okay, so then we're talking about the Shias, okay? The Shiat al-Ali, or Party of Ali, they oppose the Umayyads because their refusal to submit to Ali's authority and their illegitimate usurpation of the caliphate. So in a way, some people see the Sunnis as like the main kind of Muslims, and I guess in terms of numbers they are. But it's interesting that the Sunnis, the Shias, they oppose the Umayyads because of kind of these innovations that they've made. So some could argue that they're more original. I'm not saying anything about that, but I'm just saying that that's an argument that somebody could make. Is it right? I don't fucking know. I don't know enough about the situation to really give an opinion on it. And I don't really like giving my opinion on too many things on this channel. I'm just reviewing stuff. I'm giving you something easy on the fucking eyes to like fucking listen to this shit. So how does the Umayyad Caliphate end? It comes to an end in 750 CE after a revolt led by an Abbasid slave leads to the foundation of the Abbasid Caliphate. So let's go into the Abbasid Caliphate now. So the Abbasid Caliphate is the longest and most stable Muslim empire. So like if anyone wants to figure out how to fix a Middle Eastern geopolitical situation, take your fucking notes out. Abbasid rule was from 750 to 1258 CE. So this is how much? 750, 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12. So this is like about, give or take, like 500 years, something like that, just around ballpark. So like half of 1,000. That's kind of significant. That's longer than America has been around, like 200 years longer at this point now in 2024. So this is when the Islamic community becomes an empire of wealth, political power, and cultural accomplishments. So the Abbasid Caliphate ushers in this era of a strong centralized government, great economic prosperity, and a remarkable civilization, right? This is one of my favorite things. And the thing is, like, what's funny to me is that a lot of Muslims nowadays, they're going to talk about how the Abbasid Caliphate is so great. But the thing is, Islam at this time was not this fundamental super Sunni form of Islam. Like it was not, Muslim countries were not as strict. How do I say it? the Abbasid Caliphate was not as strict as Muslim countries today, right? So they aligned the government with Islam and became patrons of the emerging class of the ulama, the religious scholars, and they also developed Islamic scholarships, disciplines, mosques, and schools, you know. And the success was based on trade, commerce, industry, and agriculture rather than conquest. And that's where you can see this is why the Abbasids are superior over the Umayyads, because if you're going to base your entire shit on just conquest, like when you do that on conquest, people are going to be mad at you. Like, look at Israel. Israel has based its lifeblood on the conquest of Palestine. And yeah, sure, one can argue that you have trade, commerce, industry, and agriculture. They're really good at agriculture, actually. But when you base so much of it on conquest, like, people are going to hate you. And, like, the more people hate you, like, that's more, like, psychically, that's more evil eye. Like, physically, that's, like, more people that are more likely to, like, I don't know, try to, like, suicide bomb your shit. It's fucked up. But anyways, so there's this enormous wealth that enables the Abbasid caliphs to become great patrons of the arts, culture, resulting in the fluorescence of Islamic civilization, which is really beautiful. So, like, Muslims did make original and creative contributions in law, theology, philosophy, literature, medicine, algebra, geometry, science, art, and architecture. But we also have to remember, these Muslim caliphs, they also paid a lot of Iranian scholars, a lot of Christian scholars, right, and a lot of Jewish scholars. So part of why the Islamic Golden Age was so great was because of all these other minds coming with Muslim minds. And, you know, the diversity of thought is really important. Interreligious dialogue, very important. You know, so Islamic philosophy, philosophia, there's this Arabic word. It sounds a lot like just the word philosophy, though, just like Arabized. But it grows out of and extends the teachings and insights of Greek philosophy in an Islamic context and worldview. And I need to go check more of my notes for this. But there are better examples of this. Side note, somebody remind me about this. And interestingly, this cultural traffic pattern is reversed when Europeans emerging from the Dark Ages, they turn to Muslim centers of learning to regain their lost heritage and to learn from Muslim advances. You know, and through Islamic philosophy, Greek philosophy is actually supposedly retransmitted to Europe. A lot of the great medieval Christian philosophers and theologians acknowledge their intellectual debt to their Muslim predecessors. And I know this is true. I can't think of any examples right now because I have not studied this subject matter in a really long time. But this is true for a fact. I know because I do remember reading Averroes was one of them. I took a course about the Islamic Golden Age. There's some that, like, the names were Arabized and they sounded really funny in the Arabic, but they are, like, actual medieval Christian philosophers. But anyways, a quick little side note as, sorry, I just blanked out. It's like a 7 I blank out because I'm stupid. Side note, the reason that, like, I don't know, the reason that I have, like, a Hispanic influence in my life, I guess I live in Los Angeles. I literally, I'm gonna make some birria later on, like, I live in a very Hispanic neighborhood, right? The reason that Spain was even able to be the ones colonizing this part of the world was because all the Islamic Golden Age Abbasid Caliphate advances, when they entered Europe, they entered through Spain, they entered through Al-Andalus. So, like, let's say if, I don't know, if they entered through Germany, like, well, I'm bad example, I am German, but let's say if they entered through Italy, like, we might all be speaking Italian in LA, you know, like, it's crazy, we might be called something else. But, you know, it's also why I mean, as a Filipino, Spanish culture has been influenced, has been a big influence on me as a Filipino. So, I don't know, like, it's really salient to me when I look around my life and I see all this, like, Hispanic stuff, and I literally know that the only reason Spain was able to come here and do what they did was because all the advancements came into Europe through Spain. They were the first to get this cool technology, so what did they do with it? They went and conquested, the quote-unquote New World. So, there's more about the Abbasid Caliphate. This video is 11 minutes. I don't feel like recording more. And that's all you get. Bye.